What is going on? So, I am going to show you how to wrap Clapton wire. For the video, I'm going to be using 28 gauge Canthal, and this is from Vape Supply. Awesome. I got 250 feet. One of them, I got 32 and 28, and one of them was $10, and one of them was like 8 something. They came from Compton, so my fucking wire is gangster as hell. So, anyway, we're gonna take I took one rotation just for the video's purposes. You can wrap more than that, but I took one. Holy shit! No, I didn't. Yeah, this is one rotation of 28 gauge Canthal, and I'm going to grab for this. I'm going to take a few feet of this 32 gauge Canthal. When I guess like 8 inches of 28 gauge. I use about 5 feet of 32 gauge. And of course, because I'm recording, this is giving me trouble. This 32 gauge is some stuff. Be careful when unwrapping this stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stretch my arms all the way out and cut off where it is. You know, you'll get it down. You'll see how much it takes to wrap a certain amount. If I have any extra, I'm not worried about it. I will just make some Kanger coils or something for my brother. So, I'm going to take this wire and I'm going to put it in here. If you want to make this a little easier on yourself, tighten your wire in there real quick before you even add the 32. Just put the 28 in there. Pull your drill back. You're going to you know, I kind of wanted to have everything all out for the video, already made to make it shorter. So look, hold that in your drill, just give it a spin, and tighten it. Look, now you got a straight wire. So that's a trick for straightening your Canthal. Either way, even if you're not going to make a Clapton, it's good to straighten your wire before you wrap a coil. It just makes it a little bit easier. So now I'm going to put a little bend in the bottom of this wire, and I'm going to wrap this 32 gauge at the beginning of it. I'm going to wrap it around it a little bit, and I'm just going to bend this together, and I'm going to slide this into my chuck in the drill, and I'm going to tighten the hell out of it like that. I'm going to grab, so you have it like this. You got the 28 gauge straightened, going straight out, and you have your 32 gauge like this. You're going to want to grab, you're going to start it, you know, get it started on there. And then you're going to want to pinch it. See how I'm holding this? I'm going to hold it just like this. And I'm going to let it go. And you're going to let it do the work. You got to back the drill up or move your hands as you do it. So once you get a groove for it, you can speed it up a little bit. But if you hold it in place, it shouldn't give you too much problems. Make sure you back the drill up as you're going along. Kind of leave some pressure on it so it, seriously, I'm just pinching the wire, I'm just holding it in place, and it does all the work. So, just keep holding it, keep spinning it. I'm moving the drill back. I'm letting my hands move back a little bit. And that should be that. And that is that. So, in the end, you will have this. So when you first start doing this, I kind of did it quick so I could do a little bit of an example of it. If you do it, actually, in the end, the faster you do it, the tighter it'll be. But sometimes when you first start, you're going to have a bunch of space in between. You know, in between some of your wraps, you might have space. And all you got to do, once you clip the wire off, once I clip this, boop, take the rest of this 32 gauge, and I'll wrap something up with that later. But you'll have a piece of Clapton wire. Let's see if a little bit of space in between each one. So you're just going to want to grab pliers, grab just the wire, the 28 gauge wire that you got, and just pull it down. But at the end, make sure you might want to just bend that, just so it doesn't pull, because you don't want, you could wind up pulling this straight off. And if you do that, and actually if you've watched Rip Tripper's video on how to do the Clapton, he does it on another wire and then pulls it off and slides the wire that he wants wrapped through that. And that, I mean, you can do that if you want, but I would rather just wrap it on what I'm going to use. So, boppity boops. There you go. I mean, sorry about the quality of the video, but I'm hoping that you guys got the point. You really just, when you're pinching the wire, you just want to hold it in place, and as you drill, you're gonna pull, as you go, you're just gonna pull the drill back. It'll kind of push it. You'll see the wire, the tension letting up, and you know to move it back a little bit. But you don't want to pull on it, because then you'll space out the wrap. So you want to let it just tighten itself and pull back, and you should end up with a pretty decent wire. And you can do this with any gauge. I've wrapped 22 gauge in 26 gauge, I think, was the biggest ones I made, which was ridiculous, but I just wanted to see if I could do it. I fired it a few times on a 26 650, and oh my god, it was sick. So that's how you wrap some Clapton wire. This is a set of Claptons that I made. Let's see if you can see them. Boop. I think these are 8 wraps. It's coming out to 0.6 resistance, and that is this wire that we just did. We just did the 28 gauge wrapped in 32 gauge, and 8 wraps on a dual set. It comes out to a 0.6. I think I wrapped it on a something kind of small, like a 14 gauge piercing needle or a 20 gauge piercing needle. But it also has to do with how you wrap your cotton, how you wick it. You know, you want to make sure that if you're going to go with the threading the cotton through the coil, you're going to want to make sure that you, if you're threading the cotton through the coil, you want to make sure that you leave the bottom open so the airflow can hit all sides of the coil. You want to leave that open. Unless you're doing something like a dragon, where then you know that's a special kind of wrap for nanos and shit. But if you're doing to pack it around it and wrap it, then you leave the other one you leave the coil open. But either way, you want to make sure that in one way or another, air can get to either the whole inside of the surface or the whole outside of the surface of the coil, to get your best results. So just something to keep in mind. I've seen people just cram cotton all around their coils, and then they're like, "Oh, I don't know why the fuck this isn't hitting right." Well, yeah, go figure. So that's how you wrap a Clapton wire. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry about the video quality, but I wanted to get this out here. I told people I'd be doing the video when I got my wire. I'm gonna do a couple more things, and I'll post on that. I was wrapping 4 strands of 32 gauge together with 32 gauge, and it came out really nice. So I'm gonna post a video on that later. Have a nice night. Vape on. Don't believe the bullshit.